So have the microstutter issues been fixed? Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and have I got a video for you. So the PlayStation Portal, apparently it's been fixed. As of update version 4.0, they have managed to solve the microstutter issue. Not only that, they've also added cloud streaming, so now you can use it without even having a PlayStation 5. I'm going to put these two things to the test. Now before I get into that, I did actually own one of these about a month and a half ago, but after about 3 or 4 days of testing, I could not solve the microstutter issue. And what was happening was every 8 to 10 seconds there would be a series of stutter that would last for about 4 or 5 seconds, and then it'd be smooth again. But sure enough, 8 seconds later the stutter would come back, and this was repeatable, and there's plenty of evidence of that online. Now this split the Portal players into two camps: those that could see the stutter and those that basically couldn't see it or were not bothered by it. I was part of the former. For me, the stutter was unavoidable. It drove me absolutely insane. I went online, I googled, I did as much testing as I could. My broadband is fantastic. I have 1 GB up and down. My PlayStation 5 is connected via an Ethernet cable, so I knew that the issue wasn't lying at my end. And it turns out, after a deep dive, there was a fundamental issue with the PlayStation Portal. There was a guy on Reddit, I can't remember his name, so I apologise, I'll insert his link on here if I remember. There was actually a reason why the microstutter existed before. So the PlayStation Portal screen is a 60Hz screen, and the remote play client on the PlayStation 5 was outputting at 59.94. And what was happening is every 8 to 10 seconds, them two signals would effectively fall out of sync, and then you'd have a collection of stutters to catch back up again. That's my understanding of it anyway. There have been various reports online that the stutter has definitely been fixed with this new update. I'm really excited to test this out, so I wanted to unbox it and test it out for you guys. It's the second time I've owned the Portal now. I want to know, has the microstutter issue finally been fixed? I'll be the judge of that. I'm only joking. Let's get it unboxed and test it out. Right, I can't wait. The anticipation's killing me. Let's get it open and test it out. So this was supposed to be ASMR, but I realised my microphone wasn't turned on, so instead you've just got my voice talking over this. But here we are. I was really struggling to get the USB out of here.
5 hours later.
I managed to get it in the end. Isn't that the most satisfying part about buying anything new? Oh, it does it to me every time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unboxing done. Now that we've finished the unboxing, I had to set it up. So put all the language in, the date, the time, the usual. Then there was this massive update that I had to install, so I sped this up because otherwise it would have taken ages. Once it had downloaded, it then had to install the update, and then I had to scan the QR code in order to link it to my PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro. And then once we'd agreed to that, we then had to accept the new cloud streaming terms and conditions, but after that pretty much we were good to go. So the first game I tried was Last of Us Part 2. This is a game that's installed on my PlayStation 5, and I wanted to see if the stuttering was still there, because when I played this previously on the Portal before, it was just absolutely awful. Right, so I first started off by just running around, and immediately I thought, this is too good to be true. This is too good to be true. They can't have solved the microstuttering. But upon my first couple of minutes of playthrough, it definitely was 100% smoother than it was before. There's still the odd hiccup here and there, but that's down to more of a network streaming issue. But the stutter that used to happen before was constant and repeatable, whereas the stutter that occasionally happens now, it's just like a little blip here and there, so it doesn't affect the overall gameplay experience. I was really blown away actually, and it's so strange because running around now here, it's like I literally have a PlayStation 5 in the palm of my hand. It's just honestly, it's crazy. So another game I wanted to test out using remote play was Stellar Blade. Now I did download the game trial from the PlayStation Store, and this is a fast-paced Souls-like kind of game, so timing is kind of really important, and I wanted to test out the input latency. Is that increased? Is that better than it was before? But I also noticed, again, just like Last of Us Part 2 before it, just how smooth the game was. Now I did realise when I was playing this game, when I was watching the video back, that my audio came back, so I will actually put my audio back in place of this. But immediately, again, running around, I was able to time my parries, I was able to dodge attacks. I'm not the best player at this game, so you might have to excuse me, I did get hit a few times, but the overall experience was transformative compared to what it was like playing on the Portal prior to update 4.0. 0. So again, my second game in, I'm really impressed. I'm really happy with this update so far. What I wanted to do next was test what it was like to play using their new cloud streaming service that's in beta. So let's go over to that now. So the first thing I had to do was I had to accept an option in the menu here, the terms, conditions, and just accepting that it's like a beta and it doesn't reflect the final quality sort of thing. We're booting up now, and the first game I wanted to check out was The Last of Us Part 1. Now, when you actually find the game that you want and you select it, there is a little bit of a longer wait for the game to boot up, unlike with remote play, and that's just due to it connecting to the servers that Sony must have somewhere and then coming back. But once I was in, the experience was far better. Running around, it felt no different than The Last of Us Part 2. It felt like I was just playing the game natively, even though both instances are technically streaming. One of them's cloud and one of them's from your own console. The final quality that you get on the screen is basically seemingly the same. I was very impressed. In terms of the stuttering, I didn't really notice any difference between this and remote play. The micro stutter from before the update was also not apparent here either. So even though we are cloud streaming, the experience was still really, really smooth. So the next game I wanted to try out on the cloud service was Final Fantasy VII. Cloud himself, no pun intended. And again, we had that little bit of a lengthy load up time, but once you got into the menu, you literally felt like you were playing it on normal remote play. The load times and everything are just exactly the same. So yeah, I just started playing and immediately got stuck in this corner, and I was like, why can't I get down? And I realised I had to go around here and go down the stairs. But yeah, again, the experience didn't feel any different than playing on normal remote play, and the micro stuttering seemingly wasn't there anymore. I kind of noticed that the image seemed a lot crisper as well. Like the menu seemed really sharp, and it has been reported online a few times that the bitrate for the stream may have been improved, which would then in turn explain why it does look a lot better. So the final game I tried out on the cloud service was Demon's Souls. Now again, it's a Souls-like kind of game, not my cup of tea. But I just wanted to see, is it, how does it feel to fight the enemies? Because again, timing, attacking and defending is all important in these kind of games. And, I'm not that good at this type of game, but I found my enjoyment, or should I say lack thereof, not changed by the fact that it's cloud streaming. It felt just like remote play before it. I have played Demon's Souls on the PlayStation 5 before as a downloadable game, but yeah, it just kind of ran just as I expected it really. Since I'd played the previous two games, I wasn't expecting anything different, and I wasn't surprised. It ran exactly the same. It felt like I was playing on remote play connected to my PlayStation. So overall, yeah, I was really impressed, and I think we should go back to Liam in the office now to see what he thinks and to wrap it all up and give his final opinion. Oh, sorry guys, didn't realise you were back so soon. So have the micro stutter issues been fixed? So I can confirm they have been fixed, yes. Like, I'm actually shocked that Sony have managed to fix this issue that's plagued the Portal now for the best part of a year. And it turns out it wasn't actually really Sony that fixed it. On the PlayStation Portal, the actual operating system underneath all this kind of Sony and PlayStation stuff is actually Android. And it was a kernel update that needed to be applied by Google in order to fix the stuttering issue. I won't go into too much details as to the hows and whys, but basically, once that update's been applied, it effectively has solved the micro stuttering issue. Now, is there still stuttering on the Portal? There is, yes, but it's more a case of a slight hiccup here and there, and definitely down to the internet. Before, it was constantly repeatable. When you were spinning the camera slowly, you would have those stutters every 8 to 10 seconds, but now, for all intents and purposes, it's pretty smooth. In regards to the cloud streaming, I'm actually quite shocked as to how well that does perform. I'm personally, for me, I've always been a bit dubious about cloud gaming. I did test out Stadia when it first came out, and it was all right in some aspects. The Portal, again, is kind of like it's a nice addition to have. If I'm downstairs, I can play whatever game I want from my PlayStation while my partner watches TV, and I can still be in the same room as her, which is nice. When I do get to go away on holiday, or if I go on trips and stuff, I'm definitely going to take the Portal out for me. It's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means, but rather than last time when I sent it back because of the stuttering issues, this time round I'm actually going to keep it and see how I get along with it for the next few months. I'm actually really pleased with it. Now, one thing I will say is I got a few comments on my last couple of videos in regards to a lot of my content being Sony themed, PlayStation and Sony. That's actually just pure coincidence. I am a PC gamer predominantly, I do have a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 5 Pro, and I do now have a Portal, but I am in no way like a Sony fanboy. I have owned Xboxes before, I've owned Nintendo Switches before, and if you're watching this now, hopefully my other videos should already be up when I went to Doncaster Gaming Market with one of my best friends, Nathan, last week, so I hope you enjoyed that. I am hoping for my content to be diverse. I don't want to always just focus on one thing, but just recently everything's been Sony focused just because the PlayStation 5 Pro came out, and then a couple of weeks later I got the anniversary controller, which I unboxed. The Portal, the update's just come out, so everything's just kind of, the way it's just fallen is just pure coincidence. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, guys, would I recommend the Portal? I'd recommend it to somebody who has a little bit of extra cash to spend, because it is very much dependent on your internet connection. The fact that you can use it now without your PlayStation is a value-added bonus, but I wouldn't say that's a reason to buy it in itself, because the game selection that's on there at the moment, it is quite limited. There's only about 120 games on there, although some of those games, I mean, I wouldn't play them myself. They're just kind of, a lot of it's junk, if I'm honest. If you guys have a Portal, do let me know in the comments. How's the experience been for you? Have you noticed a massive improvement since the update? What games are you playing on the Portal at the moment? If you do like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and tick that notification bell for notifications that may or may not appear on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Smarter, our mighty king's got